Hi, it's Sarah Jane from Access Your True Nature, and I'm curious to know what your perception or your point of view is on being hardwired for success. Because so many times I know growing up, we were told to lift our game, that this is just how life is, and that no pain, no gain. And the thing is that we're not hardwired to live in a state of constant hypervigilant all the time. Now, you may already know, if you've been following me for a little bit, or if you just sort of keep your eye and your brain on science and mind-body medicine and healing and the trauma fields, we are not hardwired. We're not meant to stay in a certain groove for our entire life. Just as we can't be happy all the time, we're not supposed to be stressed all the time. And so many interviews that I hear, and so many of the experts that have contributed so much to my practice, this is becoming something that people are really starting to look at. And this is something that I really encourage you to look at, that where are you on a constant state of on? Because maybe you grew up in a belief system or a family that said, well, you know, that's just the way that you are. You're hardwired to be sensitive, or you're hardwired to get depressed, or you're hardwired to show up in a certain way. And the thing is that many practices, many healing modalities, they leave out some very vital pieces, which is why people tend to think that they're hardwired, because they're always trying to cope. They're always trying to manage certain things. So if I talk about the concept of feeling like you're hardwired toward anxiety or depression, or hardwired towards addiction or addictive personalities or challenges or struggles, they're not there just because you were born into a family of alcoholics or high achievers or perfectionists. And really, it's our nurturing, it's how safe we felt as children, our past adverse experiences, things like early trauma, surgeries, being born as a preemie, or having parents that are anxious or depressed or detached, or having violence or abandonment around losing a parent, and or maybe seeing somebody that was being verbally abused or sexually abused in your home. And you know, these are things that we don't really want to talk about because they're uncomfortable. But remember, even in utero, you felt all the stress that your mother was experiencing outside in her environment. We were so part of her that we start to think that the stress that we're feeling is ours, and then we start to think the world is an unsafe place, and we become allergic to foods, we become allergic to life, and we start to develop certain chronic diseases. And here's the thing, people that say that they're hardwired, it's because nobody ever asked them a question or told them that maybe this isn't their fault, and they just take it on as part of their lot in life. Now, one of the things we really want to work with when we're trying to reset the nervous system and heal on a root cause level, it's really the autonomic nervous system, which is governing that fight, flight, freeze response. And they're important elements to our survival. And I go deeper into that in my Out of the Blues, from anxiety and depression and chronic stress to learning how to heal your body, mind naturally. And, you know, this is the thing. When we feel like we're under threat all the time, what does it do? It stays revved up. It stays high, or it shuts down, and we go into that numb 100-mile stare. We're just kind of going through the motions. We're not expressing ourselves. And, you know, there's sort of two sides to the coin here. Oftentimes we're either too high in that hyper arousal, where we're revved up and anxious, and all those labels like functional autistic or too sensitive, or we're too low. We're so turned down that we're just totally numbed out, and then our body starts to scream with fibromyalgia. And sometimes we have both, or we're switching between the one and the other. So what does that have to do with hardwiring? Well, your autonomic nervous system, remember, that's the system that's governing your survival instincts, your fight, flight, and freeze aspects. We need to retrain that nervous system, what is a real threat and what is an illusion, so that we can really start to discern in a healthier way and neuromodulate, sometimes for the first time ever, what it feels like to be truly relaxed. And that maybe it's not tension, but it's actually relaxation, and you've never known it for the first time. So this is about learning to listen to your stress physiology, to your body again. And I have so many clients that say, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever felt this relaxed or felt my own body in this way before, because you've left your body and you've numbed down and dialed that down so much because of the constant abuse or attack, that we just start to believe that that's your normal and that's how it's always going to be. Now, this process of unwiring the hardwiring and rewiring, really rewiring the circuitry in the brain, in the nervous system, and it takes practice and many therapies and many other forms of healing. You know, as much as people are creating change, it doesn't sustain, because we're skipping a big major component of looking at adverse childhood experiences and just looking at breathing processes, movement-based processes and practices, or verbal clearings. It's just a tip of the whole picture, and we really need to have a foundation, because if you don't have this foundation under, when the littlest earthquake wobbles, your foundations are going to fall, and this is where we go into full body breakdown, right? So we don't want you to crumble. We want to get you strong now by resolving this early traumatic stress at the root cause, and then take a functional integrative approach that covers mental, emotional, physical, and the spiritual components of all your bodies and your mind. And this is where you're going to get lasting change, and you're going to get out of that place of hopelessness and apathy where you think that you're not going to be able to change this because this is just how you are. And this is the field of neuroplasty, where the brain has the capacity to rewire, to heal on a cellular level. So what I want to suggest is, if you're someone that is saying, well, this is my lot in life, this is just the way that it is, or you have clients or people in your family who seem to be on this downward spiral where they never fully come down, they're always sick, you know, they tend to linger in the dark a little longer than they should. Or maybe they're eating well, they're getting some kind of coaching or help that's cognitive based. I would love for you to encourage that you check out my stuff over on my site, listen to some of the amazing free resources. It's really going to help you get a solid foundation. And if you don't find what you're looking for, just ask me, drop me a line or a comment, and let me know what it is that you need and what you're asking for to help you to really be your own medicine and start to write your prescription from a place of getting to the root cause. And if you're interested in more training on this, I am running workshops all the time, on site and online. And I do have a 3-month course that is very strongly based in the biology and the biography of what causes stress and breakdown, and some really powerful ways that you can start to reboot and neuromodulate and start to take back your whole health and healing, so that you can come back to your true nature, maybe for the first time ever, and feel like you're on fire and your life is worth living. And you know, this is my passion. This is what I do every day with people all around the world. And if this is speaking to you and you'd like to know more, you know, find a way to connect with me, send me a note, follow me on social media, check out some of the resources, as I said, on my Facebook, and get on my mailing list so that you can be the first to know about my upcoming training, the Out of the Blues program, or how you can work with me privately. And I'll leave it at that. In the meantime, remember to breathe, remember to listen to your body. It's your greatest consciousness facilitator. It wants you to thrive. So listen to its signals. It's an incredible innate wisdom that is so old, and all you have to do is plug in, trust that, and remember that you're not alone. Ask for the support that you need. Ask questions. Ask your body questions. Listen to your yes and your no. And if you don't know how to do that, you'll find another video on my YouTube channel that takes you through a really quick, easy way to really start trusting your body's yes and no's, so that you can start to live your life on purpose. All right, take care. Sending you lots of love. Bye.